And now I want to introduce my colleague, Representative John Sabrowski, who's going to share his thoughts and also help lead us into the keynote speaker.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Great to be here. And I'd like to thank Rennie for approaching me a couple of weeks ago to see if I would be interested in sponsoring this bill. It took me a heartbeat. There's absolutely no question in my mind how important this is, and I agree wholeheartedly with the comments made by our previous speakers. I currently serve on the Finance Committee. I was previously Vice Chair of the Judicial Committee and also served on Health and Human Services. My wife and I, Amanda, live in Bedford. We have 4 daughters, 3 who are married, and 1 who is a Dominican sister. And we have 11 grandchildren. So like Sam, you may hear some of the same things. Okay. Rennie asked me to share my thoughts on why I signed on as a co-sponsor of this bill. And I signed on for 3 reasons. And I'm going to give you those reasons in priority order. Reason number 1, life, the sanctity of life. I am passionately pro-life. I believe you cannot be pro-life or life-sensitive at one end of life's spectrum and not pro-life at the other end or anywhere in between. Life is sacred. That is my fundamental belief. My view is that this is about consistency. Consistency in one's value system. You can't cherry pick on life-related matters. My reason number 2, prison. I see life in prison without parole as a much more substantial and appropriate punishment than being put to death by lethal injection. Have you ever seen the movies The Green Mile or The Shawshank Redemption or other such prison life tales? I bet you have. Roll those scenes slowly through your mind. Yes, of course, they contain some Hollywood fluff. But the truth is, the mental, psychological, and physical deprivations and anguish are not pretty. Have you ever toured the state prison in Concord? Have you? I have, with a group of legislators. And believe me, ladies and gentlemen, a tiny Spartan cell is not Motel 6 or anything remotely close. The cold concrete and stainless steel facilities, the bars, the other miscreants who are your neighbors, the constant surveillance, not pretty. No strolling on Hampton Beach, no more Starbucks, no more UNH hockey games. Freedom, freedom, one of the greatest of human gifts, is denied. Denied for life. Life in state prison without parole. You're never, never off the hook. Appropriate punishment for those who warrant it. My reason number 3, lack of deterrence. I don't see the death penalty as a deterrent to capital crimes. Thankfully, the days of gruesome public punishments, such as dismemberment, impaling on a stake, crucifixions, and burning at the stake are gone. And while those may have been somewhat effective deterrents in their day, I do not believe for a second, that a perpetrator today is deterred by the potential of today's very private and clinical death penalty. Those are my three reasons: sanctity of life, prison, lack of deterrence. Make no mistake, I'm a big fan of accountability, of punishment for heinous crimes, for cases of extreme gravity. Life without parole, life, a time to dwell on a choice, to dwell on an action gone very, very bad, and the consequences thereof. Dwelling on it over and over again in tough confinement. That, ladies and gentlemen, is accountability and appropriate punishment. And with that thought, it's my great honor to introduce a fellow Marine, Semper Fi, Kirk, and also a fellow discus thrower, as I learned before our talk began this evening.